Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me is Taz, and we are here to do our Watkins Glen fantasy report for the NASCAR Cup Series. So we welcome everybody, and Taz, welcome to the show.
Appreciate being on and ready to get another fantasy show kicked off here for Watkins Glen.
We're going to do a recap first of how we did last week.
Means that I think we had same 4 out of 5 starters. I would say we did pretty well.
We both had Elliott. We both had Hamlin. You beat me as far as Briscoe over Reddick. So you win that one. And then we both had Barry. That was the only difference between the two, Reddick and Briscoe. That was the only difference between the two of us.
Okay. I mean, hey, not bad.
So you get the point on that one. Okay. And then as far as our matchups, you took Wallace over Chastain. I took Chastain over Wallace, and you beat me on that one too. And then between Elliott and Bell, you took Elliott. I took Bell. 14th to 17th, you beat me on that one again. Next matchup was Barry versus Stenhouse. We both took Barry, so we both won that one. And then the next matchup was Blaney over Byron. Well, Byron beat Blaney, so we both lost that one. But overall, you beat me there too. That's why you're the expert, and I'm just I'm just the moderator.
I think I took a couple swings on. I think I took a swing on Briscoe, and I think I took a swing on Bubba.
Okay,
well, I guess my swings counted.
Your swings, you swung big, so that was good. All right, next up, we're going to take a look next at the betting odds here. These are the betting odds.
Yeah, you see here, Shane Van Gisbergen, it's no surprise. He's the heavy odds-on favorite. I'm surprised that Connor Zilic is up there a little bit, and given as low as of an odd as he is, I understand of the fact that last year, the 2 races he did with Watkins Glen, he dominated, but at the same time, in terms of the Cup Series, he hasn't done as great as expected, I guess. So I'm a little surprised that he's up there. Larson, I figured he would be a little lower. Bell on the same deal, but it seems like those are the main highlights there. You got Elliott, Byron. I figured Byron would be a little bit lower. Chase not as low or high. And then McDowell is right about where he should be. He's a good road course racer, but I don't think Watkins Glen is his strong suit. Reddick, I know, is the same way. Allmendinger is the same way, and I'm surprised Buescher ain't lower on this list either. Shane Van Gisbergen's up there, is no surprise. McDowell's up there. Buescher's up there. I'm surprised of Hocevar up there now.
Yes, I was going to point that out. Look at this. He started in 29th. During the race, he was up in 7th, and his finish came in at 3.0. So, and that's just one race, but that's still impressive. Yeah, and that was last year's race.
Yeah, Hocevar, Zane Smith.
Zane Smith is another one that could surprise people.
And Noah Gragson in there.
Zane Smith started at 19.0, ran during the race in 24th, but he finished with a top 5. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Those are 3 I'm surprised about. Hocevar, Zane Smith, and Gregson. Gregson's in there.
Gregson, where'd you see Gregson?
Right, he's right under Byron.
Here, yeah. But he did kind of finish. He started 9th, ran 9th, and finished in 11th. Elliott, I was surprised at Elliott. Started 10th, ran around 8th, but ended up finishing in 18th.
Yeah,
Same thing with Kyle Larson. He finished back in the pack.
Yeah, last year's race was, if I remember right, because I was there for it, last year's Watkins Glen race was kind of one of those oddball races, and it was a playoff race too. I remember that. Your Larsons, your Bells, your Byrons,
moved up.
Even your Elliots, those were those drivers that should have ran up front with SVG and Buescher towards the end, they struggled.
Here's a surprise. William Byron started 5.7 but finished 19th.
Yeah, it was a lot of last year's race was wild because again, some of these guys, a few of the guys I mentioned that should have been running up front, unfortunately, were not there when it was all said and done. I think it was a mix of like pit strategy slash the late cautions were kind of throwing them off. And I know Christopher Bell started the day not so hot. I think it was like on lap 3 where he
he started in 20.7 and finished in 8.3. So yeah, this is Christopher Bell here. So yeah, that's what I tend to look at is where did they start and where did they finish? So some of the people you would expect to be at the top, like Chase Elliott, ended up finishing worse than he started.
This is last year's was probably one of the wildest Watkins Glen races I've seen in some time, and I'm kind of hoping not for the same this time. But hey, this is why Watkins Glen people love this track as probably one of the best road course tracks in races on the NASCAR schedule.
Yeah, I want to show you Shane Van Gisbergen here, if I can just highlight this. Look at his passing. His pass percentage is at 41.5, but he spent 91% of the race in the top 15. Behind him is Michael McDowell at 88.2. Those are your two highest guys right there, Michael McDowell. And but he did not finish that well. He dropped off at the end of the race, Michael McDowell.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, I mean, like I said, Michael McDowell is a good road course racer, but I think Watkins Glen is that monkey in the wrench for him.
And actually, if you look at the pass percentage here, 41.5, 41.3 are the two highest.
The next one, I think, is like a 32 or a 31.
32, 34. Here's 34 in here for Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. They came in at 34.2 and 34.6. But yeah, the other one, AJ Allmendinger, came in at 33.0. But he is another one that went backwards. He started in 6th place, but ended up 14th. Yeah, it's not. Some of these guys you'd think are going to be good are not necessarily in that as good as you thought when you look at these stats.
Last year's race really was a big monkey wrench. And again, the surprises there is Hocevar, Smith, and Gregson, in my opinion.
Okay, Gregson did all right. Hocevar, Zane Smith. Here's Zane Smith's stat line. Yeah, started 19th, finished in 5th, 27. It's not the highest, but it's not the lowest either. And then Carson Hocevar, to kind of highlight his stats, started in 29th and finished 3rd. That's pretty good. And he's up there with the passes. So he actually, the one with the most passes was actually Michael McDowell. Shane Van Gisbergen didn't have as many passes, but his percentage was higher. Some interesting stats here, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, like I said last year, Watkins Glen last year was a wild fest. That's all I got because I mean you had the late cautions that threw a monkey wrench. The guys that are that were favorites either struggled early on or they struggled at the end because of those late cautions. As I mentioned, Byron and Larson they were running towards the front, but unfortunately they had, I think the pit strategy calls they had towards the end because of the cautions kind of hurt them a bit. I know Christopher Bell had an early spin out and had to recover. Blaney, who was a contender / front runner last year, ended up DNFing in that early incident that Bell was kind of a part of. So
let me see here where Blaney comes in here. Blaney is pretty far down.
Yeah, Blaney, I think, only did like 2 or 3 laps, and he was DNF'd, and NASCAR never let him finish or fix the car up.
Blaney is, yeah, I remember him being upset about that. Blaney is not your road course driver. It's kind of reminds me of Martin Truex Jr. on super speedways.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to work out for him. And then I think we should look at Brad Keselowski too, because he's in a must-win situation, and he doesn't seem to do that great on this particular road course either. That's Brad Keselowski's stat line. Some interesting stats here.
I can't wait to see how this one's going to play out, especially when we go from a playoff race last year to this year. We are at a one of the regular season closeouts, and again, we have with 3 races left, we have 3 spots open. So
there's another driver that's in a must-win situation. He did move forward. He started 25th and ended up in 13th place, Ryan Preece. So maybe he can do a little bit better this year and kind of go after that victory. I don't know.
Yeah, Preece is improving. I will say that. And I hope Watkins Glen kind of can be that turning point for him.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Kyle Busch, a lot of people think Kyle Busch is maybe one of the drivers to watch, but he went the wrong direction too. Started 10.7, finished at 23.5.
Yeah, he had issues last year, I remember.
That's over 3 races. I
know last year Kyle Busch struggled. I think he had a little bit of damage, and he was kind of like on and off pit road more than I would believe. I don't think Kyle Busch would be a guy to kind of take after this week.
Yeah, I would agree based on those numbers. Okay, and same thing with Allmendinger. Like I say, he started out well, but did not finish as well as you might think. Shall we move over to NASCAR's site?
Yeah, let's move over there.
Okay, let's take a look at NASCAR's site because they have this week done a really nice thing with their, they call it the Fantasy Fast Lane, Who Can Stop Shane Van Gisbergen at Watkins Glen. This is actually by Dustin Albino, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So yeah, who's going to beat Shane Van Gisbergen this week? That's the question. He's the new king of the road.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Chicago, I thought McDowell was going to be the guy to take down SVG. Then he had the issue. So I don't know if anybody's going to have anything for him.
Well, let's take a look at some of these. He's definitely a must start this week with Trackhouse Racing. His odds 27-20. It says don't overthink this one. I would agree with that. Van Gisbergen has won 3 straight road course events from the Busch Light Pole Award, tying Jeff Gordon for the longest streak in Cup history. He aims to become the 3rd driver to win 4 straight road course races overall. He would join Gordon and Chase Elliott. And should he claim another trophy, he will join Dan Gurney as the only driver to score their first 5 victories on road courses.
That's impressive. And like that last line said, SVG against the field. And I'm sure everyone he's trying to figure out the little nuts and bolts and the nooks and crannies for that 88 team.
Okay, so he definitely, I think, is the number 1 pick. The next driver, though, is last year's winner. A must start for Chris Buescher in the number 17 Ford. His odds are 20-1. Buescher outright got the best of Van Gisbergen last year at Watkins Glen. He's the only driver to have top 10 finishes in all 3 next-gen races at Watkins Glen, the famed road course. Buescher's 24th place starting spot was the deepest in the field a driver has come and won at Watkins Glen. He sits on the bubble. It's time for the number 17 team to contend for the victory. What do you think? What are his chances?
RFK is hungry. Chris Buescher, strong road course racer, especially at Watkins Glen. That I'm with NASCAR here. This is a guy you're going to want to start, especially if it comes down to the last handful of laps. And if it's him versus SVG, you know these two will put on one heck of a duel as they did last year.
Let's go to the next driver. The next driver they come up with is Chase Elliott. Now, they say he's a must start from Hendrick Motorsports in the number 9 Chevrolet at 16-1. Before Buescher sealed the deal last year, Hendrick Motorsports had won 5 straight Watkins Glen races. Elliott earned consecutive wins in 18, his first Cup victory, and 19, and he was in contention in 21 and 22. The last 2 New York trips, though, haven't been ideal, but Elliott leads all drivers with 11 top 5 finishes on road courses in the next-gen car, despite not having a victory. Your thoughts here about Chase Elliott?
If this was before next-gen era, I would 110% put Chase Elliott as a must start. He's going to be a threat to win. However, with the next gen era, if you're looking for points wise to help you out, this Chase Elliott would not be a bad choice. I personally would not go after him as like a winner, though. Obviously the team has struggled. Yes, or they've been on a momentum run since their win in Atlanta earlier this year. But this has been one of those oddball years Chase Elliott has had. But like I said, if you're looking for points type of deal, I would sit comfortable on Chase Elliott. But outside of that, if you're looking for a winner, this is not your guy.
Okay. Next up, we got Christopher Bell. He drives that number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. He comes in at 11-1. Before Chase Briscoe finished runner-up last month at Sonoma Raceway, it was Bell who led JGR on road courses. Since last fall's race at Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval, Bell has 4 top 5 finishes in the last 5 attempts at turning left and right. He was victorious at the Circuit of the Americas in March and has 3 road course triumphs on his resume. Bell has 3 top 10s in 4 Watkins Glen starts. Your thoughts about Bell?
Bell, I would say having your top 5 starting lineup for sure. Either way, if you're looking for a winner or a points deal, Bell's going to do either one of those two to help out. Bell's a strong road course runner. I know last year despite his early spin out, he did recover with a decent finish. So Bell knows how to get it done on the road courses, and I think he could be a factor into this year.
Okay. Our next driver is going to be none other than the sleeper pick, Connor Zilisch from Trackhouse Racing. He'll be in the number 89 Chevrolet this weekend. He's a 9-2 odds. Odds makers aren't sleeping on Zilisch this weekend as the prodigy makes his 4th career Cup Series start. His debut came at Circuit of the Americas. Even though he wrecked, the number 87 car was tracking toward the top 10 until a mid-race melee. Zilisch got the best of Van Gisbergen in last month's Xfinity Series race at Sonoma, and he has victories in 3 of 5 career Xfinity Series starts on road courses. That's not bad. Thoughts here about Connor Zilisch?
I would consider him as like your garage pick, maybe not a top 5, but depending on how his day goes before the end of stage 2, I wouldn't be surprised if he is a garage pick this week. I would not be surprised if people switched him out to put him into the starting 5 for points wise, being that he did dominate the ARCA race last year. He practically dominated the Xfinity race last year as well. And I know he's struggled a little bit so far this year on the Cup side, but maybe he could find some sort of success that he's bringing last year into this race.
Okay. I think he's been really, really impressive. We'll see what happens this week. And then we've got AJ Allmendinger here. He's another sleeper pick, driving the number 16 Colleague Racing Chevrolet. His odds are 20-1. It wasn't long ago when Allmendinger was the standard at road course excellence. His success makes him a great sleeper candidate with 3 road course victories, including 2014 win at Watkins Glen and with then JTG Doherty Racing, and an Xfinity Series record 11 road course wins. or triumphs. Since the next gen car's implementation in 22, Allmendinger cracks the top 5 on road courses in every key metric. For speed, he comes in 3rd, long run speed 4th, passing 2nd, defense 5th, restarts 2nd, according to Racing Insights. So give us your thoughts here about AJ Allmendinger.
I feel like Dinger is I don't know. I'm back and forth if he's a garage guy / starting 5. I mean, Allmendinger is one of those drivers that when he's good on road courses, he's good. But he's had moments where he should be good, ends up shooting himself in the foot and doesn't get the results that he should be having. I would say consider him as a top 5 starter. If you don't think he's a top 5 guy, have him in your garage pick. Don't bench him completely out of the ordinary. Allmendinger is going to be at least a contender for sure this week.
Okay. Next up, we have Michael McDowell. He's a sleeper pick for Spire Motorsports, driving the number 71 Chevrolet. His odds come in at 14-1. McDowell is high on the list in 4 of those metrics, including behind being the best defender. That was evident at Sonoma when the number 71 machine lacked raw pace, but still managed a 4th place finish. 1 week prior, McDowell cruised out front, leading a race high 31 laps at the Chicago Street Course before mechanical gremlins transpired. So give us your thoughts here about Michael McDowell.
McDowell is a good road course racer. This is going to be my garage pick probably. If I don't take Zilich here, I think Watkins Glen is one of those oddball races that, even though for a good road course racer, this is not his strong suit. This is not his track. So I feel like this is going to be like one of those garage. I would say this is one of your garage pickers this week.
Okay. Next up, Ryan Blaney. This is a stay away from, and we looked at some of his stats earlier. He drives the Team Penske number 12 Ford. His odds are 70-1. Playing the strategy game, one of Blaney's 5 stage wins in 2025 came at Chicago. He also showed contending pace at Sonoma, but that hasn't translated to ideal results, though, as the number 12 team has yet to crack the top 5 in the final rundown in that next-gen car. The good news for Blaney fans, though, is that Watkins Glen is among his best road courses with 3 top 10 finishes in 8 starts. Okay, your thoughts here about Ryan Blaney?
Yeah, this is unfortunately one I would definitely stay away from. Blaney's not a typical road course racer by any stretch of the means. This is going to be one of your long shot ones. If you don't even consider Blaney being being a top 5 or top 6 guy in your lineup this week, I would be okay with that. I mean, despite last year, he got DNF'd early for something that didn't favor him very much. But again, he's not an avid road course racer. So if you leave him off the table this week, I'm with NASCAR. Take him out. He's not one to get you anywhere.
Okay, next up, we have Daniel Suarez. Stay away from Trackhouse Racing, number 99 Chevrolet. His odds are 45-1. Going to a road course normally provides an opportunity for Suarez to sneak into the picture, scoring his first Cup win at Sonoma in 2022. However, the 4 road courses this year have been dreadful for the number 99 team, tallying just 56 points total over those 4 races. Watkins Glen is his most consistent road course, being one of 3 tracks where he has at least 3 top 5s at Atlanta and Texas. But Suarez has no momentum leading into this weekend with 12 straight finishes outside the top 10. Your thoughts here about Daniel Suarez?
I'd say Suarez would be a garage pick. I'm not sure if I would say stay away from. Suarez has been known to kind of surprise when you write him off, and it seems like NASCAR is saying write this guy off. I would at least consider him as a garage pick, but I wouldn't consider anything more than that.
Okay. Next up, we have Austin Cindric. He's a stay away from. He drives the number 2 Ford for Team Penske. His odds come in at 65-1. The same case can be made for Cindric. The 2020 Xfinity Series champion stamped his name on road courses, but Penske's road course program in the Cup Series has been unpleasant for a few years. His 48 points scored on road courses this year are the 7th worst in the series. On the bright side, that's 1 point more than Kyle Larson, who comes in at 47. Wow, that's saying something. Your thoughts here for Austin Cindric?
I'm with Suarez. With Suarez, I would consider as a garage pick, but nothing more than that. This as somebody who is strong on these type of races in the Xfinity Series hasn't translated into the Cup side of the deal. So I would say garage pick at the most if you really want to take him. But other than that, I would just let him sit aside.
Yeah, he's a stare. Next, we've got our matchups. Do you want to choose your 5, or do you want to go through the matchups first?
No, we'll do the 5 in the garage. I'm gonna say for my starting 5, I'm going SVG, Chris Buescher, AJ Allmendinger. Let's see. I will throw in William Byron, and I will throw in, and for points wise, I would put in Chase Elliott for my starting 5.
For your starting 5. Okay, and your garage pick?
I'm throwing Connor Zilic into that one.
I'm going to agree with SVG. I'm going to put in Buescher. I'm going to put in Bell. Yeah, let me put Bell in there. And just for the heck of it.
See, SVG, I remember, I think you took
Let me
Buescher.
take Elliott. I'll take Elliott. But I'm going to put in Hocevar as I'm going to really swing. And this is the reason why. I think I'm going to put Hocevar in here. He started 29th, but he finished in 3rd place. His driver rating, I know it's just one race, but it's 103.6. Okay, and my garage pick, you're taking Zilic. I'll take Zilic for the garage pick too. So our differences really are Bell and Allmendinger. You took Allmendinger instead of Bell, and Byron and Hocevar. Those are our differences.
Okay. Bell, I'm not against. Hocevar, I mean, hey, you swing for a fence. And I mean,
why not?
Right. I think we got our matchups next here.
Yeah, we've got our matchups next. So let me scroll down here.
Looks like
Zane
Smith and Carson Hocevar is the first matchup.
Yes, the former Spire Motorsports teammates were feuding after Smith got turned for the 4th consecutive race. Hocevar's 3rd place finish at Watkins Glen in 24 jumps off the page, but Smith wasn't far behind in 5th. Naturally, Smith is a respectable road course competitor, having grown up karting. He gets my vote for this weekend. So who's your vote?
I'm going to take Hocevar in this one.
Smith, and that's who I was going to take. I'm going to take Hocevar as well. So, okay, the next matchup that we have here is SVG versus Kyle Larson. SVG versus Kyle Larson with a pair of recent victories at Watkins Glen. Larson could get some buzz this weekend. He's among the most successful drivers to ever compete on road courses with 4 wins. But this is a tale of 2 stories this year on road courses. Larson has an average finish of 29th in the 4 road courses this season. While it's been an uphill battle for anyone to stop Van Gisbergen, give me SVG all day long. I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, I'm going to take SVG on this one. I don't think Larson will have anything for him.
Okay, I'm right there with you. Okay, so far we agree. Here's our next matchup. Okay, William Byron versus Ross Chastain. Chastain was in the mix last year at Watkins Glen, winning the pole and finishing 4th. Byron dominated the event in 23 and followed that up with a triumph at Circuit of the Americas in 24. Consistency is key, and the number 24 team has 8 top 10s in the last 11 road course events. Who's your pick here?
I'm definitely taking Byron over Chastain here.
Okay. Oh, we've been agreeing too much. You're probably right. I'm going to look at my NASCAR Central to help me out here. Chastain, 13. Finished 14th. Where's Byron here? Started 5th, finished 19th. Oh, for the heck of it, I'm going to take Chastain here. We got a disagreement. Okay, here's our next matchup. Oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, come on. They got to do this to us.
Chris Buescher versus Michael McDowell. Toughest matchup of the week. Buescher sits 23 points ahead of RFK Racing teammate Ryan Preece. He might have points as a prime focus this weekend. It's ideal for setting a lineup, but tough when doing a matchup. McDowell's only way into the playoffs is a victory, and he's among the best on road courses. Overthinking, sure, but that leads me to think he will finish ahead of Buescher. Ooh, what are your thoughts here?
Well, both are good at road courses, but the only thing that's going to make me take him over the other, take one driver over the other, is based upon overall, I feel like I'm going with this is going to be a Chris Buescher battle win over Michael McDowell, only because I feel like McDowell and Watkins Glen, for some reason, do not match.
Yes, I'm gonna take Buescher as well. So I think we both agree there. Plus, Buescher, I think, wants to secure his spot.
Yeah.
McDowell needs the win to get in. I get it. Okay. His lineup this week, oh, I think it's close to yours. He's got Shane Van Gisbergen. He's got Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell. So he agrees with me there. But he took William Byron, where I took Hocevar. You took Byron, and he put McDowell in the garage.
That's not a bad lineup at all.
You know, I think I'm going to change my garage to McDowell.
I'll stay with Zilich.
Okay.
I'll give him a chance.
Okay, I'm going to say McDowell for the garage. He agrees with you on William Byron, but he agrees with me on Christopher Bell. So interesting.
Yeah, he's got one heck of a lineup there for sure.
Okay, now they say 36 for 36. Pulling Preece from my 36 for 36 pick was a bonehead move last week. Granted, the number 64 Ford showed a little hope in practice and finished 30th in stage one. Once again, the number 60 is a viable option for Watkins Glen, having scored 10th most points on road courses, 107 in 2025. I'm leaning toward Kyle Busch entering the weekend, however, who is tied for 7th on the same list at 123, and both of his top 5 this year have come on road courses. You want to take Preece or do you want to take Busch?
I feel
or better. Somebody else.
I'll go with Ryan Preece on that deal.
Okay, I'll take Kyle Busch. Okay, so 36 for 36. Okay, I've got you've got Preece and I've got Busch. Okay, so there you got it. Those are our picks for this weekend. Anything more that you want to mention here, Taz?
No, I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it. We got our top 5s. A lot of different options or good options to work with. The garage I think the garage picks this week are going to be very open-ended. I think there's a lot of different options to go with. I think we covered our ground, and let's hope for a good Watkins Glen race and nothing to where we saw the wild card of the late race cautions to throw a monkey wrench into everybody.
Oh, yeah. There's always the monkey wrench that can spoil everything, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Now, do watch for more coming soon here on Bamper Racing Radio. I just have the Cup Series preview to put up as well as our fantasy report here. So that'll come out later tonight or early tomorrow morning. I'll give myself a little leeway there just in case. And then on the other side of this weekend, we will have all of the reviews for the 5 races that are taking place this weekend with NASCAR's top 3 and the ARCA Menard Series all racing at Watkins Glen, and the ARCA West racing out at Tri-City this weekend on Saturday night. So we'll have all those reviews as well as at 10 o'clock, we have our Hot Topic Sound Off conversation with Chris Crichton, Jay Huseman, and myself as we discuss all the hottest topics in NASCAR. There's a few already on the list with more to come this weekend, I'm sure. And then again, of course, we'll be back next week with the previews for that weekend of racing, which will be at Dover. So the season's winding down. It's getting to more and more tense, Taz.
Oh, definitely. 3 races in the regular season, 3 spots on the line. It's going to be a matter of who's hungry.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We do appreciate you. We hope you enjoy tuning in as much as we enjoy doing these. And we want you to know we appreciate each and every one of you. So with that, Taz, I think we're ready to say goodbye. Are you going to be at the racetrack this weekend?
Unfortunately not. I got some family activities going on this weekend, so I'm not going to be at Watkins Glen.
Okay, I thought maybe you would, or maybe your home track there that you work at as well.
No. My home track is off this week. We're back next weekend after a long, eventful night last week. We had power going out in the middle of one of the last features.
Oh my!
Oh yeah, it was one of those deals where I can sit there and say this is not one I wanted to check off my bucket list, but it's now been checked off.
Yes. Okay, so that's out of the way. We're ready to move on.
Exactly.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Taz. We really appreciate you. And I look forward to being back here next Friday for our next fantasy report.
I'm looking forward to it.
Take care, everybody.